bomb. I'm a professional, Sean. I need action, baby. Ready?
1, 2, 3, action.
What's good? What's good, Hurricane fans? Appreciate you joining me for another edition of OTH Out the Huddle, presented by Dime Life. I'm sitting here, and I can say this with a living legend, University of Miami's all-time leading receiver in catches and yards, Xavier Restrepo.
Oh, man, I appreciate you for having me on.
What's
It's
good,
a
baby?
blessing, dog. Thank you.
You know what's funny? I was talking with my team early today. I was actually working on my introduction with you, and I accidentally said something, and I think it might stick. Moving forward, at the University of Miami, when you catch the ball, it should be called a reception.
That's
You
smooth.
fuck with that, huh?
That's smooth.
Hey, you
That's
fuck with
smooth.
that.
That's
Hey,
smooth.
real talk. Like,
That's smooth. That's
I
smooth.
was sitting here with the team, and I was like,
Yeah.
and I was trying to practice on introducing, and I was like, he's the reception. And I said, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that's smooth, though. I ain't
But-
never thought about that.
But when you hear that, man, like, you know, I know you've probably been asked this before, but how does that make you feel?
It honestly makes me feel really good because, I mean, the names at the top of the list that I'm with are, well-respected names, not only in college football, but in the football world, in the pro football world too. So, having guys like yourself and, Michael Irvin and Santana Moss, Lamar Thomas, all those guys, within reach for me to talk to is just amazing. And then obviously being at the top of that list is another thing that, I've dreamed my whole life of doing. So, again, it's surreal, but I mean, it's awesome.
And, we all got unique journeys, right? Like, I'll give you mine in a minute. Like, born and raised in California, wasn't a University of Miami Hurricane fan. I remember being 16, 17, laying down, watching University of Miami versus UCLA, the comeback game, Edgerrin James scored a touchdown. I also remember Florida State, Miami games, few fights, spitting on the logo, getting into it. Then I remember Nate Webster running through somebody, ironically. It was Bill Hamilton at Georgia Tech. And I looked and I said, yo, I want to be a Miami Hurricane. They didn't recruit me. I sent them a letter. Boom, now I'm here. How did you get here? Like, just a quick spin out of your journey. Like, how did you get here?
No doubt. So I'm a South Florida kid. I was born in North Carolina, but I was raised in South Florida my whole entire life. Always been a Miami fan, a Miami everything fan, like Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Miami Marlins, all that. And my dream was to run out the smoke at Hard Rock. So I mean, growing up watching all the Miami games, I'm like, I want to be a Miami Hurricane. So I mean, worked my tail off honestly, and got to a point where I was getting recruited by Miami. My junior year, I tried to, commit to Miami. They weren't taking another receiver, so my commitment got declined, and I was about to commit to Kentucky. And parents talked it over or whatever, and I was talking with them, and I'm like, look, like I really want to go to Miami, like whatever it takes, blah, blah, blah. So I held out on that, and Coach Diaz actually called me like 3 days later. I was like, we'd love to have you, as a Miami Hurricane. And that day definitely changed my life. And ever since that day, I haven't looked back, working super hard, trying to, break all the records and trying to win, an ACC championship.
You know what? That's kind of ironic, right? You said, as a junior year, you wanted to commit. At that point in time, they weren't taking on any more guys. You were about to commit to Kentucky, but then you in your heart, you wanted to go Miami. Would it have been in the scenario where you would have walked on? Did you want it that bad?
I wouldn't have walked on because I wasn't raised with, money. I don't come from, like a wealthy background per se. So I would have went to college for free. That would have been the only way I was going to college. But I mean, who knows? Maybe I would have transferred here or something like that. Like I wanted to go to Miami that bad. We're the logo.
And you speak about, your upbringing, your background. You mentioned your parents. When I was having conversations about doing this Dime Life partnership with you last year, I spoke with your mom in depth, right? And it reminded me the way that she spoke about you, the relationship that I have with my mother. And she was just like, yo, like X is dope. He's God-fearing. He works hard. He grinds like he really wants this. And she said something to me where it was like, she talked about how proud she was and your development and how you've grown in a young man. Just speak about your parents, their influence on you. I met both last week at the tailgate. Just speak about their influence on you and how they've helped you on this journey, and what values they've instilled in you.
No doubt. So I don't know if a lot of people know, but my mom had me when she was 15. She was pregnant with me when she was 14. So I obviously have young parents, so I kind of grew up with them. Talk about maturing at a young age. They did it. So I had great role models in order to do that. Um, I mean, honestly, just grew up with them. They told me, as a parent, you tell your kids don't do stuff that you did, so all the mistakes that they made earlier in their life, they've acknowledged, and they allowed me to be knowledgeable of those things. So I feel like they've helped me out tremendously. They're honestly half the reason why I'm here. Obviously God, I'm a God-fearing man, like you said. I believe in him so much, and I feel like he does everything for a reason. So maybe making me, not commit the first time, made me, push a little bit extra in training or something like that. Just gave me that little, that it factor. And I mean, honestly, back to your question, my mom and my dad have helped me tremendously from early mornings to late nights, before school training, after school training. My mom's staying up and helping me do projects and stuff like that. So, I mean, they're definitely one of the biggest reasons for my entire journey.
Mom seems like the type of individual that'll pull up to every practice.
Oh, 100%. She still does. She still does.
Right.
She still
That's
does.
dope.
And I mean, the reason for that is, when I did break my foot in 2022, she was just like in distraught, and she missed watching me play football every single day. So she never misses a practice from here on out.
I mean, when I think about you breaking the record and getting the record, the number one thing that I think about is consistency, right? And you look at the social media world, they're titling you GOAT, and they're throwing these things out there. I want to give you a title, right? Just from watching you over, the last few years. I will say that you are the most clutch player in University of Miami history, right? Like,
thank you.
That's a title that I feel that we could throw on you, and there's very little argument, because I don't think, especially in your position, in the way the landscape is shaped, guys are staying in college this long to have those many clutch moments and opportunities, right? You've been able to do it no matter who was under center getting the ball, no matter who the coordinator was. And so my question to you is, are they dialing plays up for you, or is it a little bit of kind of just schoolyard ball, let me get open?
I think it's a little bit of both, because I mean, my offensive coordinator, Coach Shannon Dawson, he has full trust in me and full confidence in me that he could call any play in the playbook and I'll get open.
Yeah.
Just because I know, the coverages, I know how to get open. And people don't know that, like, I am a pretty good athlete. Like, people just think like, oh, I'm a hard worker and just
they
a
try
smart
to
football player.
they try to throw that hard hat in the lunch pail title on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people don't really know that, I do got, I don't like speaking about myself, but I got that, So again, it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of call this play, find him, and obviously you give your player design plays and stuff like that. But it's more so of the call any play and I trust him to get open.
And so earlier this season, I was able to have dinner with Cam Ward before the season started. Very humble guy.
Oh, yeah,
I could tell he loved ball. That's all he wanted to talk about was ball. And we were in a setting in Miami where things could distract you, and he just wanted to sit and talk ball for 3 or 4 hours. And I just remember him saying, and it was how he presented it to me, right? He was like, I'm so excited about this year. He's like, we got some dogs. And he was like, no disrespect to anybody that I had in Washington, none of my receivers, none of my teammates. He's like, but these guys that we got dogs. And he started to mention, some of the names about how they're going to come in and take the top off of the defense. And then he was like, but like X, like I can count on them all day. Has y'all relationship gotten to the point? Because when I was talking with him, he basically was like, I understand what the coordinator want to do, but also it's times where I see stuff and I want to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Has y'all relationship gotten to the point to where, you know, you have that little signal and things like that where you can dial something up that's like a little carve out outside of the playbook? Like, do I is he confident enough to do that without the coaches getting in his ass? And do you guys kind of have that between each other?
No doubt. I mean, Cam Ward has, the entire offense to himself. Obviously there's plays called, and he trusts Coach Dawson a lot because Coach Dawson is an amazing offense coordinator. So Cam, again, trusts, Coach Dawson with everything. But, I mean, like this morning, I met Cam for film at 5:15 in the morning, and we just talk through stuff. Like we just watch games, watch stuff, and just talk through stuff. It was funny. Like last game, he was like, "All right, we're gonna call this play. And when you get on the safety, just go yaga 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 yaga, and just get up and I'm gonna throw it to you." And that's exactly what I did. So it's just little stuff like that. And I mean, again, I'm very knowledgeable of the game, and I know defenses certain looks. So I'll probably say like 90% of the time, like I know the ball is where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
So I know, like, boom, if the corners are playing too far off, I know he's going to give us some type of concept where I have to go vertical or short, and the other guy's going vertical or short, and the ball's getting put in play right now. Like I know all that stuff because I watch film with him. I spend time around him, and again, our chemistry is nonstop growing. It's still growing to this day. I've only had 10 months with him, and it's continuing to grow. So yeah, I mean, I know exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, like I watch guys like if you, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at Mahomes and Kelsey, right? Like sometimes that ain't a real route.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean is the concept of the route, like where you know what position you got to be on in the field.
Mm-hmm.
And, being a defender, it was easy for me to cover a 5-yard out.
Mm-hmm.
It was easy for me to cover, those traditional routes where the guy's going to get to that yard mark
Mm-hmm.
and break it off. What I found when I got to the league and what I see with you in film is you understand the defense, you understand the offense and the concept, but it's really about getting open, right? It's filling the body position of the defender and breaking off because a DB can read this 5-yard out quick.
Right.
But now if you get up to 6, he's like, okay, this ain't a 5-yard out. Boom. Then you done went out.
And get back negative a yard.
Man.
No, for sure. There's definitely times like that where it's like Cam goes, basically he always tells me, he always stresses to me, space is our friend. So just run the space. Sometimes I'll have a cross route. If they go cover 2, that linebacker doesn't go Tampa, I'm running right down the middle for a post for a touchdown. So it's stuff like that that we always talk about like that.
What makes Cam unique? Right? What is his unique attribute? You've played with many quarterbacks, what I'm saying? You've probably been to camps and seen many guys. Like, what is the unique factor? Everybody talks about how cool, calm, and relaxed he is. Like, I'm talking about he Cadillacing it, laid back. Like,
yeah, right.
Like, right. But from the inside, from your perspective, what makes him unique?
I think what makes him unique is, one, he's an elite competitor. He hates to lose, just like me. So, like, we share that trait in common. And, he's super consistent. The guy is the first guy in the building each and every single day. I try to beat him sometimes, and, it gets close, Yeah. But, that dude is literally consistent as all can be. He really loves football.
Yeah,
he really loves football.
We sat for 3 hours. Like I said, there were a lot of things that could have distracted you.
Right.
And he just talked ball. And he talked about how he couldn't wait to get things started, getting guys. He was talking about concepts. He was talking about things that he wanted to do. And I'm like, man, like the season hasn't even started yet.
Right.
So I definitely noticed that when I hung out with him. So you guys been playing with fire, right? Last several weeks. The Cal game. Right? Like when you're in that position, right? When you're down by that many points, tail end of the third quarter, how is it? And I experienced it. I played with Tim Tebow. Mm-hmm. We went on a 7-game winning streak. In every game, we didn't start playing until we were down by 14. Mm-hmm. Like I used to tell people all the time. Adam Gase was our, I can't remember if he was our quarterback coach or if he was our coordinator. Mm-hmm. And I just remember sitting with him at breakfast, and he's just like, yo, like, we'll go through the first half. And I'm not saying this about Cam, but I'm
Right.
just trying to give you an analogy of like,
Right.
I've been on that team that had that cardiac
Mhm.
mindset to
Right,
come
right,
back, right? Like, and we would be down by 14 points.
Mhm.
And Adam Gase was like, I don't know what it is about this kid, but
Mhm.
he'll go over the first half. Can't read shit first
Mhm.
half. Going at halftime, he's pulling shit out the back of the playbook, and it's the most difficult, intricate. And then he says, "Give me the ball." And there's something about him that I believe in him. Is that something that you guys see in Cam? Because there are times where he makes huge mistakes,
Mhm.
and even then, it's like, okay, all right, we're not tripping, right? Like, there's no panic within the team. There's no panic, within the players.
Right. I mean, a thing that just reminds me of is that, Tim Tebow, just like Cam Ward, is just elite competitors, want the game in their hand and, don't want to fail and don't want to lose. So, I mean, again, with Cam, he could do anything, and we still have full trust in him just because we respect him so much as a guy. And, I mean, again, at the end of the day, we know that he doesn't want to lose,
Yeah.
So anytime the ball is in one's hands, it's like we could win. And so going back to the Cal game, we were down 25 points, I think, with like 8 minutes left. And I mean, we knew that everything that we were doing was because of us. Like they have
Self-inflicted.
yet to
Yeah.
stop us. They have yet to make us do this. It was all like self-inflicted again, like you said. And it was like, all right, let's turn it up. Let's make the simple plays, elite execution, and those turn into big plays. So I mean, we just looked at Cam and told him like, we're here for you.
Yeah.
Like let's go. Like let's take off. And I mean, Cam Ward did what Cam Ward does.
So funny thing is, my brother went to the Berkeley, right? He was actually on the Cal team that beat Miami in the bowl game 10, 15 years ago. And so I thought he would have been talking trash to me the whole game. He waited until it was in the third quarter. They were up by 25 points,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And he just sent me a text message of the eyes like that, right?
Mhm.
I wish I could show you. I don't get my
Mhm.
phone, but in my phone, here's how I responded. Because it was like 12:30 at night, right?
Mhm.
Over here, the game was
Yeah,
so
it
late.
was late.
So this is what I put. I responded to him. I said, I'm going to bed. I'm going to wake up in the morning. We're going to have a W. In Cam, I trust. I shut my phone off and I went to sleep, right? Sure enough, I wake up in the morning with the W. I sent him, I don't know, Spice Adams. I sent him the meme of Spice Adams in the yellow suit looking behind the tree.
Right,
and
right,
I
right.
said, good morning.
Right, on me, on
right?
me.
Like it's a gift and a curse because I felt like, as a fan base, you can get accustomed to being okay with being down.
Right.
Same thing with the team as well. Like I said, when I was going through that stretch with Tebow, we were comfortable being in that position. But again, at some point in time, it is going to come and bite you in the ass, right? Last week, we had our first loss of the season, Georgia Tech, right? Like, destiny's still in our hands, right? So, like, what is the lesson that the team learned, from that loss?
Man, if I were to tell you one, I would be lying, because there's a million lessons that we learned from that game. We learned that, we're the best third down team in the entire country, and we went 3 for 10 on third downs. Yeah. And then we're top 15 team on fourth down. We went 1 for 4. So I think, again, at the end of the day, it is all execution. But, guys have to take preparation so much serious. And we've talked about it already. We've put that loss behind us, but we still kept a lesson in our head, and that's to come out fast, come play fast, which we did at the game. It's just we failed to continue to do so. And we also learned that, Cam Ward is that guy, but, we also need some help, So, again, like the defense gets a stop, we can't go 3 and out on the next drive, So it's all about playing complementary football and just trying to like dominate people and not just play, to our competition. Georgia Tech's a great football team. Don't get me wrong. But we're the Miami Hurricanes, know, and we need to act like the Miami Hurricanes.
Got a few more questions here for you. it's crazy to look at this team. We're 9-1 versus the team that we had last year, right? Besides Cam, which is one of the obvious things. What do you think is the biggest difference of this 2024 team versus the team last year?
100% without a doubt, ego.
Yeah.
I mean, all egos are completely out the window. That's one thing that I made sure that, our team got out of that, because it's cancer. I mean, when you start looking at, stats and awards and all that stuff, like Cam, I mean, if you ask him right now, he will wholeheartedly, honestly say he doesn't care about winning the Heisman, and that's just, again, a trait that I respect so much about him, is that he wants to win. He's played on 3 teams already, and he hasn't won. So he wants to do that, and that's his main focus. And so, I mean, again, going back to, like I said, I mean, it's all about, keeping the main thing at the end of the day. And, yeah, just keep on stacking weeks. I mean, we have the team. We have, everything we need. We just have to throw the egos starting to creep in a little bit, because you get all this high praise and all this high rank. People are like, oh, we're on the number 4 team in the nation. Like 2-3 weeks ago, we didn't even know what rank we were. We just went in each week and try to get 1-0.
I mean, and you can see they want us out of there, right? We went from
exactly.
number 4 to 12.
To 12,
like
right,
we on the outskirts now, right?
At the end of the day, it's you have to come to work each and every single week. Conference play is conference play for a reason.
Yeah.
You could lose at any single moment, and I mean, you can't take advantage of those opportunities. Ego has to get thrown out the window, and you just have to ball out. That's what it is at the end of the day.
All right, we're gonna do like 5 quick, like hot seat questions.
Mm-hmm.
These kind of 1-word answer, very short answer. This one in 1 word. Describe head coach Cristobal. He more than 1 word guy.
I mean, I could say consistent. He's the same guy every single day. Madman. I could say cafecito, because he loves that. Players coach.
Yeah.
Those are just some.
You said players coach, right? And so earlier this year, I went to the first game, Florida game, bought my own tickets, sat 2 rows behind the bench, because I wanted to look at team. I wanted to look at the dynamics and look at the energy. And one thing that I did notice was that compared to last year, you guys were a bit more lax. You guys were able to have fun, right? Like, again, when you make a penalty and you cost your team, coach going to chew you in your ass regardless. That's just going to happen, right? But this season, I've seen that he's allowed guys to have a little bit more fun. It ain't that much tight, like, you know what I mean? Like it was in the past. You just dog cussing motherfuckers. But again, you cost a team, I'm going to cuss you out, might sit you down or do something. But it just seemed like guys were a little bit looser and freer and able to enjoy themselves.
Right. That goes back to ego, though, because, guys last year couldn't get coached.
Yeah.
They thought they knew everything, So when you go back to this year, it's like all guys' egos are out the window, and coach sees it and he respects that. So when he could coach you hard, and you could take constructive criticism to a T, he'll let you have a little bit of fun, He'll let you celebrate, and, obviously don't throw the ball in the stands and don't jump in the crowd and do stupid stuff, spin the ball, stupid stuff like that. But, I mean, when you're having fun and you're playing hard, he doesn't really care about if you get a holding penalty or something like that. Like, we'll fix the details, but he doesn't want to have to fix effort.
Yeah, that's the number 1 thing. Favorite cane of all time? Only 1.
Damn.
You only get 1.
Damn. It's so hard to say, man. Michael Irvin, I guess.
Playmaker. Irby on the sideline.
But dang, it's so hard to say one person. But I mean, when you look at Michael Irvin, he just like pours, shouts out,
like
shines.
Literally. On all 4, sweating.
Yeah, I mean, that dude gave me a hug after, the last drive of the Cal game, and it was like a pool. So, I mean, Mike is great. He's amazing.
Anyone you model your game after in the NFL? And again, earlier you said it, and I'm glad you said it. Like, nah, I'm that dude. I got that sauce, right? Don't be trying to turn me into a hard hat. Don't be trying to turn me into one of these guys that didn't have any measurables, little engine that made it.
Exactly.
So, like, guys that you look and study, like, who would you model your game after in the league?
So I watched a lot of guys that retired already. Growing up, Steve Smith Sr., complete dog.
Yes.
I mean, I love everything about his game.
Dog, violent.
I love that about him.
Violent.
Julian Edelman, another guy that just has the grit to win and to just like want to succeed. I mean, Wes Welker, the way he reads the field and stuff like that. Devontae Adams with his release packages. Justin Jefferson, second level stems and releases and stuff like that.
See, I like that, man. You didn't put yourself in a box and just choose these undersized slot guys that are
100%. And it's again because I don't want people to see me as only that, you know. I want people to see me as like, oh yeah, he could go deep if he wants to. Like people think that, you know, I'm not fast and stuff like that. I got some wheels, you know what I'm saying? Again, I don't like talking about myself, but I'm not your typical, you know, short, undersized receiver. You know?
Oh no, you thought you're not under you.
I can do no right, and again, I take blocking into super consideration.
So what was funny about that is, like when I was speaking with your mother last year, that was the number one thing she talked about, you being in the slot. Like, yo, X is gritty. Like he was like, yo, X is gritty. Like he has the most yards after catch of any player in there. Because we started saying we're gonna call him Yak Daddy and all this stuff, and that's what it put a different focus. And I started to watch that, like, oh yeah, you are in the slot and you are getting gritty. Two more questions. You have any superstitions or rituals?
Pray. I try to pray as much as I could before each and every single game. Again, I don't really have any superstitions because I do believe in God, and I feel like, you know, His way is the only way. So whatever way He wants, you could wear orange cleats, get 200 yards, and then wear those same orange cleats next week and get no catches. You know, so it's not so much superstition, but beliefs. I pray every single day when I wake up, and every single game day. I try to pray like. Again, I don't put a number to it, but whenever I feel the urge to like, dang, like, because again, you've been in those shoes before, and the day you stop getting butterflies is the day you got to hang up those cleats, you know? So when I get butterflies before games and stuff like that, it's not being me being nervous. It's I love football, you know, and
excited. That's what I'm saying. Some people don't understand. Excited, can't wait to release all this energy that has been built up all week.
So when I feel that, it's like, all right, let me pray to God, you know, and just get everything back down to earth, you know.
All right, last question. For the University of Miami Hurricanes, how does this season end?
ACC championship, national championship. We have the team to do it. We just have to, you know, execute. We just have to play good in big games, and we can't play to our competition. We have to be okay with, you know, blowing people out.
I love that, man. A lot of people would have shied away from that question, and you know, kind of gave a Mickey Mouse Disneyland. And we were just trying to, you know, fulfill our team goals. We in this to win and win it all. And 100%. You should be confident enough and feel confident enough to say it. I know I said that was last question. I got one more for you. Wide receiver coach Kevin Beard was one of my teammates. Just describe him, describe his relationship, because I'm interested to see how he is as a coach versus a player, and on and off the field.
Right. Again, super consistent guy. A reason why I'm consistent is because he's the same guy each and every single day. He brings the best out of me. He makes sure that, again, I am the same guy each and every day, that I don't, you know, pick and choose when I want to be Xavier. I mean, at the end of the day, that dude is so critical, and he loves football.
Yeah.
Everything about details, he is just like top tier. Like,
did he speak about Curtis Johnson at
all?
all?
He speaks about CJ all the time, all the time. And we actually spoke to CJ before one of the games, and I mean, they're literally the same person.
I mean, CJ for me, it was weird. So when I got to, you know, I came here from California originally. I was the number one player in the country, and CJ was just like, it was weird because you talk about hazing and rite of passage. It didn't come from my teammates. For me, it came from CJ. So I'm talking about for the first month straight, every morning, What's up with you? You soft, bro. California, you soft, bro. Hey, listen, bro, it's okay. You scared, bro. You want to go home, bro. You want to meet your mama.
Right.
And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, bro. He's like, hey, bro, it's okay to give up, bro. It's soft. But you talk about consistency. I saw the way he worked, the wide receivers, the dots, the catching balls before game, after game, screaming, yelling, like his intensity. His intensity was so much. There were several times where like CJ and some of our DB coach and D-line coach almost got into it.
Oh,
just
100%.
the competitiveness.
It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. I mean, again, like I said, Coach KB is consistent as consistent can be. And I mean, when you do good, you can do better.
Yeah.
You know, when you do great, you can do better. You know, so he's always trying to make me, you know, have the best version of myself at all times.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for
No, for
stopping
sure.
in, baby.
Appreciate you, my guy.
All good. Hey,